They called it Operation Cleansing. The Jar Dominion, a species of scaled tyrants whose empire stretched across 100 systems, had grown tired of Earth's expansion beyond the Sol frontier. Humans had begun settling worlds the Jar once claimed by right of ancestral conquest. Terra Nova was one such world, a lush, ocean-wrapped colony barely 70 years old, home to 12 million humans, families, farmers, dreamers. The Dominion struck at dawn. The first wave arrived cloaked in gravity shadows, 30 warships descending through the upper atmosphere, their hulls glowing with re-entry fire. They didn't send warnings or demands. They didn't offer surrender terms. They simply opened fire. Orbital defense satellites were torn apart before they could lock on. Cities vanished under plasma bombardment. Skies filled with falling glass and ash. Within a day, the Jar troops walked through the burning ruins of New Manchester. They found survivors and made examples. They recorded executions, streamed them across the subspace channels, and broadcast their cleansing to the rest of the galaxy. The Dominion's supreme warlord, Kerzoth, stood before the camera in his battle armor and said, "Let this be known across the stars. Humanity has reached its end. Their spark is extinguished. Their colonies are ours again." He raised his claw, gesturing to the burning world behind him. "Terra Nova," he declared, "is purified." And the transmission spread like a sickness. The mockery of the Dominion. For weeks the Jar celebrated. Their fleets paraded through conquered space, flying banners stitched with human bones and melted alloy from destroyed ships. Galactic newsnets replayed their victory speech endlessly, the moment when the primitive mammal empire was crushed under Dominion might. In their eyes, the humans were done. The Jar believed Earth was too far away, too fractured, too slow to retaliate. They called humans soft-worlders, a species of sentimental creatures obsessed with art and peace treaties. In the high councils of the Dominion, generals laughed over holofeeds, showing images of human refugees drifting in shattered transports. "Pitiful things," hissed General Kerzoth, clicking his jaws in satisfaction. "They'll beg for trade agreements before they dare lift a weapon again." The Dominion's merchant guilds began bidding for the rights to strip mine Terra Nova. Its oceans would be drained for deuterium. Its soil would be converted into nutrient slurry. The cities that once sang with music and laughter would become resource pits for Jar industry. To the wider galaxy, it seemed like another inevitable conquest. Humanity had lost worlds before. Surely they would lose again. But deep beneath the silence of Sol, something ancient was stirring. Because humanity remembers. And humanity builds. The silence before the fire. When the message from Terra Nova reached Earth, it played on every screen: the burning cities, the dead colonists, the arrogance of the Dominion. The United Earth Council sat in silence for 12 minutes. No one spoke. No one needed to. Then the prime commander of the Terran Defense Fleet stood and uttered 4 words that would echo across centuries. "Prepare the iron response." The words spread like a virus through every military channel. Sleeper fleets activated. Orbital shipyards lit up the void around Mars and Titan. Factories on Luna shifted from peace production to war protocol. From the black vaults beneath the Arctic Circle, hidden fleets rose, dreadnoughts older than most colonies, built in secret after the first contact wars. Massive, angular warships, each carrying more firepower than a planetary defense grid. In the dark of deep space, human AIs awakened from stasis. Names long forgotten blinked back to life: Iron Wrath, Vindicator, Omen, Justice. Even the civilian networks felt the change. Freight pilots turned off their transponders. Mining barges disappeared from asteroid belts. Colonists spoke fewer words and looked longer at the stars. Because every human knew what was coming. The Dominion had mistaken humanity's mercy for weakness, their patience for submission. But humanity had been forged in fire, wars, plagues, and apocalypses. Every scar, every fallen city, every extinction near miss had taught one truth: we do not forget, and we do not forgive. For 57 days, the galaxy heard nothing from Earth. The Dominion mocked the silence, saying, "The mammals mourn in peace." They were half right. Humanity mourned, but not in peace. The SDARS tremble. The retaliation began not with warships, but with whispers. On the outer fringes of Dominion space, their sensor buoys began disappearing. 1, 2, 10, entire networks went dark. Patrol ships sent to investigate never returned. Then a Dominion fuel depot orbiting the moon of Gorka was found empty. Not destroyed, but emptied. The entire station had been gutted with surgical precision, every drop of plasma siphoned away. No survivors. Within days, Dominion fleets started receiving strange signals, automated beacons transmitting old human distress codes. They followed them, curious, and found nothing but empty space. Until the black ships arrived. Humanity didn't broadcast a declaration of war. They didn't announce their coming. They simply appeared, dreadnoughts emerging from folded space, armored in matte iron that reflected no light. Their hulls bore no insignia, no colors, only the carved words, "For Terra Nova." The first engagement took place in the Coran Expanse. A Dominion task force of 40 vessels encountered a single human battleship, HMS Nemesis. When the Dominion demanded identification, the response was a single transmission: "This is humanity. You killed our children." The battle lasted 6 minutes. When Dominion reinforcements arrived, they found nothing left but wreckage, their ships atomized, their commanders vaporized, and Nemesis already gone. Every surviving Dominion officer received the same encrypted message moments later: "The iron response has begun." When Earth awoke, what followed was not a war, it was reckoning. Humanity unleashed its fleets like storms of vengeance. The Iron Dawn Armada struck simultaneously across 9 sectors. Hyperlanes burned as Terran warships exited slipspace in perfect synchronization, their drives screaming with the power of a dying star. Human dreadnoughts didn't maneuver, they advanced, relentless, silent, indestructible. The Jar had never seen weapons like these: rail cannons that fired rods of condensed tungsten at a third of light speed, planetary torpedoes capable of splitting moons, drone swarms guided by quantum-linked AI commanders. Entire Dominion shipyards were erased before alarms could sound. Command stations went dark as human marines in exosuits breached with impossible speed, slaughtering garrisons with precision and cold fury. And the broadcasts began, humanity's answer to the Dominion's arrogance. Every Dominion world received the same transmission: no voice, no demand, only a simple message appearing in their skis, projected in burning red letters across the atmosphere: "We remember Terra Nova." World by world, the Dominion began to crumble. Jar fleets fell back toward their homeworld, abandoning colonies, conscripts, and allies. But it was too late. Humanity's fleets had already bypassed them, moving like ghosts, cutting supply lines, destroying communication relays. The Dominion's propaganda networks went offline one by one. Their leaders screamed in confusion. They had thought humanity incapable of this kind of fury. And then the sky above Jar itself darkened. The wrath of Earth. The Terran First Armada emerged from folded space like a living eclipse, more than 1,000 ships, each larger than any Dominion vessel ever constructed. Their arrival warped the planet's magnetic field. The seas boiled from orbital entry. The Dominion's planetary defense grid opened fire, but the human ships didn't even break formation. Layered shield arrays shimmered, absorbed, and continued forward. Then the Eternal Vengeance, the flagship of the Armada, sent a single transmission to the Jar High Council. You claimed victory. You will now lose your future. The bombardment began. They didn't glass the world immediately. No, humanity made them watch. Human strike teams targeted gene vaults, war factories, and command centers. The infrastructure that had sustained the Dominion for millennia was torn apart with methodical precision. When the Jar tried to surrender, Earth did not respond. When they begged for peace, humanity's ships turned their weapons on the orbital shipyards, the very symbols of Dominion pride, and reduced them to glowing slag. Finally, when the last of the Jar fleets attempted to flee into hyperspace, the Eternal Vengeance unleashed a weapon the galaxy had only whispered about, the Singularity Lance. A beam of white light, focused through a gravitic aperture, speared through the system's sun. The star collapsed. The Jar homeworld was swallowed in the roar of its own dying light. And in the silent void that followed, only the human ships remained unscathed, unmoved, unmerciful. The cost of victory. In the aftermath, the galaxy trembled. The Dominion was gone, not conquered, erased, its worlds left barren, its name stricken from galactic registers. For generations, other empires would study the fragments of what happened, trying to understand how a species once mocked as soft could unleash such total annihilation. But even humanity didn't celebrate. On Earth, memorials were built from the ruins of their enemies, one stone for every lost colonist of Terra Nova. The inscription read, "We do not start wars, but we end them." And for centuries after, whenever a new power rose and whispered about humanity's destruction, someone would speak the ancient warning, a whisper that passed through every shadowed council and every imperial court. Never provoke Earth. Because the galaxy learned what the Jar had not, that humans are the only species who build peace out of ashes, and who turn grief into a weapon sharper than any blade. And when the stars grow quiet, when the void seems too still, the old soldiers of distant worlds sometimes claim to hear something carried on the solar winds, a faint echo of vengeance that once burned through heaven itself. The invaders claimed victory, but lost their future,